All right, guys. For this assignment, we're going to be working with a molecule. Now, I want you to learn a couple things from this. One, we're going to split our screen into two viewports. One we'll keep in conceptual, one we'll keep in realism. And what I want you to see is that if you go off plane when working on your main workspace, you can visualize it in the other one. That's why I want you to have viewports. Viewports help you really not make a mistake when you're attaching complex objects together or designing anything. So it's a good thing to know. Just like layers, when we learned about layers and how layers can be segregated and turned on and off to allow you to make complex designs without a lot of I don't know, complexity in the process. Okay, that's we're trying to make it efficient. That's our goal. So you're going to end up making this molecule. Okay, I'm not going to tell you what it is, but you can find out and tell me. Get some extra points for it. So you need to break this down. Okay, really, what you're doing here is working with sweeps. Okay, you're using polygons. Okay, I'm going to teach you a new way to attach polygons together. Okay, which you'll see here. Also, you need to figure out how you're going to make your double bonds. Your double bonds are going to be equivalent to the single bond, but they're going to be equally spaced from the alignment of the circle rather than just point to point. Okay, so you need to think about those things. And then you're just having spheres placed, and this is all on a single plane. So let's start our molecule. So the first thing you're going to do is you can stay in 3D modeling, and some of you have struggled because you don't have your workspace set up correctly because you're just now opening up AutoCAD from your student version. So there's a little black arrow button that you may not have yet. Okay, so up here there's a little down arrow. Click it, and you'll see a drop-down menu similar to this. You need to click on Workspace. Once you click on Workspace, you'll have this drop-down menu that's going to be, you'll be able to toggle between your three different types of workspace for CAD. If you don't want to do that, or if you're comfortable with it, down here is the same little gear. And if you right click on that pop-up arrow, you have your other three options here. So just keep that in mind because I know some of you wanted to toggle between the different workspaces and just couldn't figure out how to get there. So there you go. Okay, so if we go into drafting and annotation is where you kind of need to be initially. Go to your polygon tool, which is going to be underneath your rectangle. Okay, so the first thing the polygon tool always asks you is how many sides. So our first one is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so 6 and enter. Okay, and then it's going to ask you for the center point. And then it's going to ask you inscribed around or in. Okay, circumscribed or inscribed, and it doesn't really matter. But what I do want you to do is make sure your ortho's on. The ortho's on, it doesn't go in some odd direction, which is not what we want right now. So I'm going to go ahead and create a polygon. Super simple. Okay. Then I want my other polygon. So I'm going to click this again. Okay. And this one only has 5 sides. Okay. And now I'm going to hit E. At the bottom of your screen on your command line, there should be options. E would be if you wanted to attach on an end point. Okay, so I'll click where I want my other polygon to attach to. Okay, then you don't have to worry about the angle. You don't have to worry about rotating it around a certain point and latching it correctly. Just use that edge tool. Okay, so now you have 2 polygons. All right, so then what I'm going to do, and you can do it differently if you like, I'm actually going to move this over a little bit. Now, I don't really want it to move off plane. I'm going to grab it from the center, and I'm going to turn off my ortho at this point because I want to be in control. And I'm going to turn off my reference lines and my snaps because I really just want to move this out enough that it is away so I can do my sweep for my double bond at this location. Because if you look here, this one is a double bond attachment. Okay, so this spacing is what's going to dictate how I'm going to create all my other double bonds. Okay, so now I have my 2 polygons, okay, that are the backbone of this molecule. Okay, So what I need to do now is I need to do my viewports because I haven't done that yet for you. So I'm going to type in viewports, okay? And I'm going to say I want 2. And I like them vertical. You can do horizontal. That's fine. Okay. And the reason I'm having you do this, okay, is because I want you to be able to see it in duplicity, basically. So the one that's highlighted blue, see the blue line here, that's your active. That's what you're working in. Then this one, you have to click over here to move it, can be in anything you want. Now, right now, we don't have too much going on with our drawing, but I'm going to make this one in conceptual. Okay, so once we start building this, you'll be able to see the changes in conceptual over here and wireframe over here. So I want this to be in an isometric view, okay? Because if I start drawing in this one, okay, I got to turn my snaps back on, then I see it over there. And if it goes off plane, I'm going to see it over there. And that's one of the points, okay? So I want you to make a line that comes off equidistant from these 2 arcs. So you have to determine what your full arc is. So if I do an arc all the way around 24, okay. You're going to designate your angle, and you're going to designate the length, okay? And because you're working with a molecule, you want these 2 angles to match, okay? You can do one of 2 things. You can do a bunch of mathematics if you like. You can also determine your angles, okay, if you want. It really just depends on what you're looking for and what works for you, okay? So, and then what you can do is if you want to just be kind of not sloppy, but if you want to be quick about it, okay, say you bring out your line like this, okay, you can come in and just do an angular measurement, okay, 125, right click, do it again, and come over here and do it with 27. Okay, so I'm not quite there. This really needs to be at 126. Okay, so you're gonna have to shift it over a degree. Oops, I don't want to do it now. Do it when you do this. Okay, so you can rotate it, you can do it however you want to do it. Okay, so if I did that, see how it's moving? Okay, so you want to move it so that you're 126. Okay, so now I do want this to be a specific length. So if you type in properties, it'll tell you what it is right now. So it's at 5. Okay, I'm going to bring this to, and I want to toggle it to the dictated length, not how much I'm subtracting. So I'm going to toggle it over to there and make it 3. Okay, so there's my guy. Okay, now once we have this and we have that point, you can move on to your other line, these lines. Keep them all consistent. Okay, so you'll do the same thing all the way around. So you'll have another line out this way, and another one here. Okay, but I'll show you that. But I also want to show you that I want you to sweep these. Now, before you sweep them, you need to also what was I going to say? You also need to make these double bonds. Now, you can do just a standard issue sweep. Whoops. And remember that it's a circle, okay, because you're making a bond, and it really doesn't need to be much, okay? If it's too large, it's not going to give you the space for the double bond. So I'm just going to make it 0.05, okay? It's teeny, and that's totally fine. But remember, once you make the sweep, you no longer have these angle points. It's a sweep, okay? So what I would do is I would go ahead and do all of your single bonds to make this whole object. So right now we've created this one. you'll go ahead and make these other ones, okay? But for time purposes, I'm just going to focus here, and then you'll follow the same methodology to do the others, okay? So I'll focus on this, and you'll have to fill in the blanks here with the same methods, okay? So what I'm going to do is, so I've already made my lines here, okay? You're going to have to make your secondary lines prior to sweeping because you'll lose something from sweeping. Now remember, when you sweep, you lose what the circle. So you're either going to need to make a bunch of copies of it, okay? Or you have to remember what the circle is. Either way, it gets used when you sweep. So if I sweep and I use this circle, okay, enter, and then I use this as my path, okay? Now over here, if I click over here, it shows me what I've created, okay? And then, whoops, I don't want to do that. I want to be back here. I come back into here, and I'm happy with that, okay? Now, I'm also going to need to sweep this, and I want it to be the same, so I'll do the same. It'll ask me my object, remember, enter, and then I'm going to select the path, okay? So now I have that path, okay? So then the next thing I need to remember is that I need, and I don't know if this is going to work because I can't remember, I need to do my double bond in this location. Okay, this is already set up, so I have one. I need one here. So if I explode this, let's see what it turns into. Do I still have my pieces? I do, okay? Albeit they're not solid, okay? That's fine, okay? With this drawing, we're fine. I'm fine with that, okay? But now it gives me this piece, okay? So I want to offset it, okay, on either side of the center line. So I'm just going to move this, the midpoint of this, which I still should have, okay? And I'm going to move it. Will it allow me? Yeah, okay. I want to move it straight out. And I don't want snaps on because I want to direct it myself, okay? Okay, I'm going to move it there, and then I'm going to make another one, and I'm just going to do a mirror, okay? And what I'm going to use as the mirror is put my snaps back on, is the center point here, okay? Now it should be a little funky, okay? I don't want to delete anything, and there it is. So over here, you can see my two lines, okay? And that's my quote-unquote double bond. Now, you'll be like, wait a minute, it's gapping, okay? Yes, you're right. It's gapping. However, we're not going to stress about that. Right now, I want you to focus on being able to function on the plane, understanding the sweep. You're going to lose some of your snap points with sweep. I want you to understand how to create these equal angles for these lines. And I want you to understand that you can take simple objects and make them more complex, okay? So at this stage of the game, I have everything I need on this one side, okay? So if I look at my diagram, I have this over here that's swept. I have all this, but I'm missing my quote-unquote molecules, okay? Not my molecules, my protons and neutrons, electrons, or no, they're carbon, they're elements. What am I talking about? So everyone's is going to be a little different because your sweeps are going to be a different size. I'm not dictating that to you, okay? What I do need, or what you do need, is you do need the molecule, the elements that you place here need to be in this joint specifically, and the bonds need to be within the sphere you create, okay? So what I'm going to do, because I want it to be fairly centered, is I'm going to give myself a center point, okay? So then I'm going to go into 3D. I guess basics is fine. And I'm going to get my sphere from my drop down. Okay. And then I'm going to come over here and I'm going to make a sphere. I'm going to watch it over here and see if I'm going to rotate it around in my conceptual and just see how it works. Okay. These are equally spaced apart. My sphere is centered on all of three of them. Okay, so now as I build this, I'm going to take this same exact sphere. Okay, I'm going to copy it. Okay, and I'm going to take it and I'm going to place it here. And then I'm going to take another one. Okay, now this one's going to be different. You can't do it yet. I mean, you can place it here, but you're still going to have to place it between the two bonds, just like you did before. Okay, so then I'm going to place this one here. I want to make sure I place it correctly. And then I also want to make sure I place it correctly there. Okay. Now I'm placing it on this center of this face's circle. Okay. So now what I should see when I look over here is my whole side created. Okay. So I'm going to come here, and now this one can go in conceptual and this one can go into realistic. Okay. So now I'm just going to assume I have all of mine, and I'm going to go ahead and color them. Now, you don't necessarily need to go to the point where you're going to materials. If you want, you can select and just color them. Okay. I can't remember how I have mine colored. White and blue. Okay. So let's change this one to white like it already was. This one, lost my mouse for a second there. This one I'll change over to blue, and then these stay white as well. Let me see here. No, that one's blue. Okay, and then this one over here is going to be blue. Okay. Okay. All right. Now, these don't look that great, so I don't love them. Here, that's better. I hope. Let's see. White. Okay. And then here, these are all the same color. So I'm going to select all of them. I'm not going to select that. I'm going to select this. And then you can make those gray if they have it. If they don't, you can come and select gray here. Okay. Oh, no, cancel. What am I talking about? Okay. Gray. Okay. Okay. And then, oh, this one didn't get it. That guy and this guy are two different colors. We're gonna select, oops, cancel that because I have color 9 right here. Color I just selected. Okay. So then we're good. Okay. So in your conceptual, you're definitely not going to see the colors as they are in realistic, but over here, it's giving you that impression. Okay. So you'll go on and you will do your lines on the hexagon. Okay. And then you'll sweep everything. The ones that need to be pulled apart, you may have to explode the hexagon. You may not. Okay. The ones that you need to do where there's a double bond here, once you create your line, you'll do an offset. So say, and I'll just show you it with this one, and I'm not going to be as precise as I was previously, but say I have my line and say, I can't stand not doing things precisely, but say this is my line. It looks decent. So say this is my double bond. You'll select this one. Okay, that's not good. Let me see. It looks like it went off. No, it's okay. If I want to offset, okay, you can select a specific distance. I'm just going to do 0.05, and then you'll go bam, over, and then this line can get deleted. Okay, now you have your double bond, and you'll sweep those lines. Okay, so remember, you want them to be centered specifically. You want them to be centered on the point of your overall hexagon. Okay, so I hope that helps you guys. I don't expect you guys to do a rendering on this one necessarily. Just showing it in its simple format like this, it works just fine. So I hope that helps you guys work through the molecule, and I look forward to seeing your designs.